he showed me, now it doesn't mean to say I haven't done it since yesterday, so my memory is.
Look, I had the same problem, and this gentleman, yes, kept saying, no, you buy it under ebooks. I thought, oh, never thought of that. I was reading under books and
Yes,
reading under
I know the impossibility of getting it here in time.
Yeah, that's
So this
why
one is-
Even
I
from
did.
Dipnox, it'll be 10, 12 days or.
This one turned up yesterday.
And that's $74 too, or 79, wasn't it?
74.
Every one of the, I've
You seem to
done
have done
4,
great.
4 and 4,
I know.
they're connected units here. And every one of them has given us the information
Yeah.
first, so you can order something. Unless it was like 1 or 2 were available for.
No, I couldn't
I
get
still
it
have
first, we got it
No,
in
I
the
I keep having to, I know I've messed up.
Okay, now you can talk to me. But the
I just
question
wanted to
is,
say hello.
hello, good to
Hello.
see you.
Before you start, you've got to show us how though we get your lecture online. So
You just have to go to the unit and
Yeah.
there is a folder which
you
is
could do
called.
it. Oh, I can fix it then. Oh, I couldn't do it.
You go to the folder,
Yeah.
which is called lecture notes.
Yeah.
And in that folder, there are PDF files too, lecture one and lecture two.
Well, I
They
sort of,
they come
I
out like
haven't done a
this.
lot of
I
everything.
printed
I had a
them.
bit of
I'll
a
have-
trauma
Right.
on the weekend.
So there's
Not
today's
fixed yet
lecture.
either, but we'll push it.
That's today's lecture.
Yeah.
Family and cancer.
You've got space to put your own
Oh.
comments.
But we get there, we'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to be late.
So am
And
Now,
you've
I
been
did
into
not
Wollaston College
push
certificate.
what I
in
did
theology.
last week, so I have no idea if it's recording, it says it is, so.
Okay. Well, we managed to get it going last week.
Last week we did, but I'm pushing a different button.
No.
Technology is not my friend, do you realise that?
I do hope that you realize we are bonding in this particular
Yeah,
moment.
that's right, yeah.
It is not mine. I am okay when I know the system, but this is going beyond me.
Well, I
Right.
didn't know what the exercises were. I've done some and I haven't done others.
That's okay, we will do
Hello,
some
Chloe.
here.
And I
It is
have
Chloe.
many.
Yeah,
I'm Andrew, Roger,
hello.
Thank you.
and that lady's going to be Lynn when she sits there.
I think she is away
Is
this
she?
week and next week, yes. Okay, so let's hope for the best.
That's always
The only
a
way
I know.
to.
Yeah.
That's what it is, you know, I pushed a different button, so I have no idea if it's recording, but we can hope.
Or with you, you know?
Those who are here are okay, hey?
Yeah.
So, let's do the, now what I do, oh, yes,
Lecture 2.
right button. So today we are going to cover 2 chapters from a book, yeah? One is the
Yeah.
recognizing arguments and
Is
the
it?
other one is evaluating arguments. Yes, that's it. Yes, that's it, yeah? And you can download it as well.
I'm here.
Yeah? Because I then turn the PowerPoint into the PDF
Yes.
file,
Yeah.
so you can actually,
That's
yeah?
good, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, because as you notice, it's a lot and a lot of slides, but I'm quite going to fast through it, but it's more for your revision.
Yes.
The other hint, if I can give you here, if I repeat something more than 2 times, and if it's 3 times, it's going to be in that assignment. Just a suggestion.
Oh, okay, oh my gosh.
Just a suggestion, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be covered in the lecture. Do not panic. It's going to be mostly repetition. I was brought up in socialism on the Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, who said, repetition is a mother of wisdom. We are going by that.
Yes. I like it, I like it.
Me too, always. Repetition is really important because then you will see what I'm going to show you simply the points here from sort of different
Yeah.
standpoints, yeah? So you can better understand. And then we can discuss the, after the lecture, if
Okay.
there are some things which are not clear, and I can come back to them the next lecture, yeah?
Great.
Okay.
Because as I told you, this unit is either really easy for some people.
For some people.
For some people.
Interest.
For other people, it seems totally incomprehensible, but I promise you, by the end, it will be clear.
I think, well, don't forget, I haven't studied for 42 years. And I'm learning now to get systems and how to
Yeah.
read again, because you
In that
don't-
case, this unit is actually good.
And I think I did this in the core subject for a Bachelor of Business in
Hmm.
1976.
Well, practically yesterday. Practically
But I couldn't
yesterday.
remember a thing, but it was a different world then.
Not for critical thinking. We do have it since Plato,
Yeah,
which is practically yesterday too.
Rhonda and I, we don't see a lot of each other, but we see us on Sunday, of course.
Yeah.
And Friday, but we think, well, it's actually making us think about
Yeah.
that there's nothing quite right all the time. This is a critical thinking.
Yeah, and I really promise you, by the end, it will make sense. And as you will notice, I'm going to repeat and repeat
Yes,
and
I love
repeat.
it. Yes.
So, yeah, for me, it just sounds like I'm saying the same thing
No.
all the time, but it is not for you. So bear with me. If you think it's too repetitive, there is a reason for it.
That's great.
I think
Okay?
it's great.
Yeah. Good. So we can skip this one because I'm going to point. Now, hey, again, sign. If you find any nice sign, please,
Yeah.
can I have it? This gate must be open or shut
At all.
at all times.
No way.
So which one is it?
Either.
Either one or the other. We do know it is the form, yeah?
Yes.
Either one or the other, but not at all times.
No.
Somehow it doesn't fit together. So once again, yeah, it could be open from 9 to 5, maybe, and then close, whatever, but it cannot be open or closed all the time. Yeah, once again, just pay attention to signs and you will find these hilarious things around you, trust me. So what is argument? What we want to do, we want to find out or recognize what is argument and then evaluate it, yeah? So what we actually need to start looking how we recognize what argument actually is. As I told you last week, we all make arguments, they are just not aware of it. Yeah, because we always give reasons for something you want others to believe in. Yeah? So in order to recognize what is argument, I'm going to show you today how you can do structure of an argument. In a book, there are 3 ways to do it. Yeah, for me, the easiest one is the standard form, which I will show you, but you can use the arrows, you can number after the claims, yeah, which one is the premise 1, 2, 3, etc. As I said, standard form is easiest because you lie the sentences, claims, one after the other, and then you can see how they lead to a conclusion. So I would suggest you pick whichever you feel is, did I say feel? Everything is now feel. Whatever you think is, yeah, right way for you to do and go from it. But of course, another obstacle we have critique, yeah? So either today, yeah, why should we critique anything at all? Or we want to critique everything, yeah? It's always, critique is becoming very negative word. But what does it mean, critique? Yeah, well, critique actually does not mean, same like the argument doesn't mean screaming at each other, yeah? The similar critique might surprise you what it is. Critique comes from the Latin criticus, criticus, crinein, which means to judge, to decide. And a side note here, crisis. The root of the word crisis is as well from the word krinein, to judge or to decide. So when we are talking, we are in crisis, it doesn't mean there is at the end of the world, but that we have to judge or decide what we are doing in, yeah, those crisis situations. Once again, we lost these meanings. So critique does not mean to dismiss argument, without giving reasons, yes? So the point is we need to first judge it, and in order to judge it, we need to evaluate it, okay? So just to make clear what we are talking about, yeah? So to be critical does not mean to look for faults. It does not mean to be negative. It means to recognize the structure of an argument as is presented and then evaluate it and say, is it good or bad? And we will learn next week, valid or invalid. Yeah, arguments could be valid or invalid. Forget about that, we will come back to it next week, yeah? So first we need to understand argument. First ask yourself, do you actually know what you are talking about? Do you actually know what other people are talking about? Because we suddenly start going into, if I can suggest, do not try to evaluate arguments in the tavern. No good idea with few drinks in you.
No.
Because then you kind of look sort of, you know, there is not a place for it really. So now that the critic is to know the limits of an approach, limits of an argument which is presented, yeah? And now, ready? And we are going to look for premises and conclusion, okay? So to dismiss an argument is to evaluate the reasons given, not dismissing argument without consideration, okay? Once again, first paint, then your shoes. Terminology. Terminology used in critical reasoning. And I know there are these terms, but in order to understand each other, we need to know what those terms mean, yeah? So when we speak about the structure of an argument, we need to know terms such as premises, conclusion, and the mean. What do they mean? What do we actually talking about? Why do we need it? And there is always such a resistance to terminology, isn't it? Why do we need it? Why don't we just have, you know, speaking the language? Yes. What about relativity theory, quantum theory, chaos theory? Do we know what they mean?
They're a theory.
Well, we don't, do we? If we are not physicists, we do not know that.
They're proposed as a theory.
But what is it? Not what the theory is, but there is a theory and we don't know about it. So we have to learn about this, yeah? And you cannot talk about the relativity theory as it is quantum theory or the chaos theory, yeah? Because each has a different set of rules which in a way talk about this is theory, yeah? So it's same with the critical thinking. What about these ones? Internet, web, email, search engine, etc., etc. We now use them every day, but they were not words which we used before. We actually learned them. We learned them in order to recognize for us and talk about, yes, search engine or the upload, download. When they came up first, we had no idea. We have to learn it to talk with others, yeah? What about this one, DOS? How many of you remember DOS?
Me.
Exactly. Some of us do, some of us don't. Yeah? Once again, MP3 player.
Yeah.
We have to know these terms. Yeah? So to understand what we are talking about, we need to understand terms that we use. Okay, so that's the first point to remember. So what do all of these words mean? Reason, assertion, declarative sentence. By the way, what is a truth value of a sentence?
True or false?
Ha! Excellent.
That is
Yeah.
in my dreams now. I did it this morning.
That's the whole
Yeah,
point.
this today.
That's the whole point. Yes? So we already know one term. We already know what it means. Yeah? So we have to find out what is declarative sentence, what is argument, what is inference, premises, conclusion. Truth, we talked about that last week. Now we know truth value as well. Valid, invalid arguments. Those we will cover next week. So don't worry. Yeah? So what is an argument? Argument in certain ways is a technique. Yeah? It's a technique how you put the reasons together, and it is about establishing relationship. Remember when I talked last week about the logical, illogical? Yeah? It is always a relationship between planes. Okay, that's the whole point. So the same in argument, it's a relationship between claims. It will be a relationship between premises to conclusion. What are premises? Premises are reasons which you give to somebody from it to understand your conclusion, what you want them to understand, okay? So, what counts as an argument? Yeah, I already talked about it, but it's really important to remember, yeah? It's from arguere, which makes clear. To make clear your reasons, and you have to put it then into the form which is, yeah, giving reasons. We should aim to support our assertions by reasons, so others can understand our arguments. Only then they or you, yeah, can draw inference from one assertion to another. Okay, I'll give you examples, don't worry, yeah? So you draw inference from premises, premise or premises to conclusion. Yes, so we are given reasons, and from those reasons, you draw conclusion or you draw an inference. Yeah, that's the term, yeah? So to put it differently, to draw an inference from premises or two or more to a conclusion, okay?
Okay.
What's an inference?
I will come back to it, yeah? Good question, because I think it's important to actually understand it. I'll come back to it, yeah? That's what I'm saying. I'm going to repeat and repeat around and around, yeah? So, what is the argument? Argument consists of premise or premises plus conclusion, and that's the argument, okay? So there are reasons which you give to support the claim, which will become conclusion. Yeah, and those reasons which you give for conclusion are called premises, and from those premises we draw or infer conclusion. Yeah? So to move from premises to a conclusion is called the inference. Okay? So now this is from your textbook, but I think it's actually a really good way to think about this, yeah? I can say, for example, you better read the lecture notes as well as do exercises at home, as well as listen to the lectures if you want to be successful with your assignment. Yeah, I can say that. So I am implying to you that you might miss on important points if you don't do that. You infer from my reasons that you need to do that. Makes clear?
Yes.
I imply to you, you should be doing this. I give you reasons, yeah? And you infer from those reasons, or you draw a conclusion from those reasons that you need to do otherwise, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, in everyday usage, assertion is a statement, yeah? Make firmly, or it is a declaration, yeah? So this is another important thing to remember, declarative sentence. Declarative sentence is a statement of fact. And declarative sentence or assertion or reason, once again, choose which one is better for you, yeah? Means it has to have truth value. Which is?
Okay.
Which is truth value? Don't look at me, reply to me. No, it's you.
Me.
Yeah, what is truth value of a sentence?
I have no idea.
True value of the sentence is the start, the middle, and the conclusion.
True and false.
True or false?
True
That's the truth.
and
value.
false.
Is it true or is it false?
Oh, I see. True.
That's all.
Okay, well,
I'm going to ask you this many times. Many times. On this side, we mastered it. On the one side, yes. So what is truth value of a sentence?
True or false?
Exactly. That's
No,
all.
no, false or true.
or that. Yeah, so declarative sentence, each because you declare facts, yeah, it could be either true
Or it could be.
or false. And why is it important? Because only those sentences, assertions, reasons we can use for an argument. They have to have truth value, otherwise we can't use them for an argument. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So only assertion declarative sentences, yeah, we are using, we can, Mike, can you close the door, please?
Me, yeah.
Sit. What did I say?
Can you close the door, please?
Yeah, which was question. Close the door.
Statement.
Statement.
Is it? It's exclamation.
Explanation, okay.
Close the door. True, false? Neither.
Neither, yeah.
Exactly. That's why we cannot use them for the, it was a presentation. Yeah. Not that I have anything with the door. Yeah, I just want you to realize
That's how it
you
works.
cannot
Yeah.
say true or false if I say close the door. Could you close the door? True, false? No, I'm just asking you. Yeah, we cannot use those for argument.
You just put the word in front, could you close the door? Does that alter the argument?
You can't use it for an
No,
argument
it's because,
because it's a question.
could you, question,
Because it's
Yeah.
a question.
Because it is a question, yeah? Could you close? You can't say if it's true or false, it's a question.
yeah.
Say, just bloody close the door.
It's still,
Same thing.
yeah.
You can't say true or false, yeah? It's exclamation. Okay? Just to be clear, we only use declarative sentences for argument, okay? So, yeah, why? Because as I said, true or false. Question or an exclamation is neither true nor false. As you can see, I'm saying this thing, repeating it, all of it is in your notes.
good,
So you can revise it, yeah, and look through it, yeah? As I said already last week, for the purpose of this unit, we are not looking what the argument is about for the time being, yeah? We are looking at the structure of an argument, yeah?
Yes.
And I will give you some examples later on what I actually mean. Of course, it's very relevant if you want to convince somebody that what is the content of the argument, yeah? But here we are learning the structure, yeah? So for the time being, we will not stop and start talking about what do you mean by this. We are just looking, are those sentences connected or not? Yeah? Okay, now remember, even a bad reason is still a reason. Even a bad argument is still an argument. Yeah, you just need to remember it. You might see something and say, this is just a bad argument. Why is it bad? And we are going to learn it to see why it is bad, but it is still an argument. Yeah, we just need to recognize that. Yeah? Okay, so the argument could be as trivial as you better get your feet off the table, mother is coming. It's an argument, yeah? Mother is coming, therefore you better get your feet off the table. Yeah? So, or it could be, this is from a book, and when I saw this, and they actually said this, or profound idea, I said, profound, what on earth? This is precisely, as we talked last week, between the morality and truth.
Yeah.
Innocent children suffer and die every day in this world, and especially in Gaza these days, but we are not going into that part. That shows life has no meaning. How the first leads to the second? How could you, are you following me now?
Yeah.
How could you infer that conclusion from that premise? There is missing something, isn't it? You would need to write a lot to connect those two, same as we talked about morality and truth last week, yeah?
Yeah.
You can see, yeah, if you pay attention, there is nothing which connects one with the other. Yeah, that's as far as we go, yeah, to look for what is in those claims, yeah. And why are we doing? There is the only relation between those it shows. Well, sorry, it does not show. Yeah? Okay, so always remember, do not write so that you can be understood, but so that you cannot be misunderstood. Make sure you cover all your steps when you write your essay. Okay? Okay, so how do we know when we are dealing with the argument? So first way is to look for the indicator words. Okay? We are looking for indicator words. What are they? We have conclusion indicator and premise indicator. Yeah? So we can see when we know which one are indicator words, yeah, if is premise given or a conclusion. If it was so simple, it would be easy. It is not, but it is one of the way we can start looking at is it argument or not, and which one are premises, which one are conclusion, yeah? Okay, you should study law because lawyers earn high salaries. Argument or not? Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Now, let me see. Why? First of all, you got the indicator word because, okay? So because lawyers earn high salaries, you should study law, okay? The second claim, because lawyers earn salaries, provides reasons for believing the first claim, yeah?
So the premise is you should study law, is that right?
The premise is lawyers earn high salaries, therefore you should study law. You can rephrase it, yeah?
Okay.
Be always careful. It's not so simple. You don't have the premises and then conclusion. You have to reshuffle it, yeah? But the indicator word, which is the premise indicator, gives you suggestion this is a premise, yeah? Now, as I said, you need to restructure it to see what is premise, what is conclusion. This is for me, it's much easier if I then write it, yeah? Going back, I'm not going back because then I lose my, I have it first, I got it here, yeah? You should study law because lawyers earn high salaries. You would like lawyers earn high salaries, you would put first premise, and then you said you should study law. The other thing is its antonym. Don't we love this word? And you are going to love it because I'm going to ask you about this word many times. So what is antonym? What is antonym?
No idea.
Well, it's on the screen.
Well, the means bit.
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
Oh, okay.
What is antonym? Arguments that have implicit, in other words, unstated premise, or implicit, unstated conclusion. Okay? Something is missing in the argument, which we need to put in so the argument is in a way more clear. Remember making it clear?
Yeah.
Making it clear? So let's see what. So premise one, lawyers earn high salaries. Well, if I am a hippie, whatever that means, mind you, or I don't know these days, do I really want money? Maybe I don't. I just want to go somewhere in the forest and so I don't carry the high salaries.
No.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So there has to be link why I should study law if lawyers earn big money. Yeah? Something is missing there. And usually in antonyms, it's generalization.
Oh, I see.
It's something which is kind of general, which connects one premise to that conclusion, yeah? So suppressed link, yeah, is usually generalization that needs to be filled in for the argument to work, yeah? So the implicit premise, unstated, but the premise on which the argument actually relies on, yeah? What is it? Yeah, remember that I imply by offering you reasons and you infer.
lawyers earn high salaries.
What is the generalization?
That people want a lot of.
You
money.
should study law.
For example, no, you should study law is conclusion.
Okay.
Surely the bit,
Oh, I've mastered the thing, yeah? Premise one, earns high salaries, what is generalization?
people want hard, want
They want
money.
money, yeah.
Hmm?
People want money.
Maybe, something like that, yeah, or money is good, or whatever, yeah? Generalization, which you fill in and then make sense, but lawyers and high salaries gives you lots of money,
Yeah.
therefore you should study law, yeah?
Yeah.
Not therefore. I have worked on this during the night, those 3 dots, you know them?
I do.
Yes, we use them all the time now.
This is how you use, that's what it's there for, yeah? So these 3 dots in logic means therefore, okay? I slave over those 3 dots during deep nights. Okay, so when you see 3 dots, it
It
means
means
therefore, yeah? And that's
Is there 3
problem.
dots on the screen?
Yeah.
So you can see,
Twice.
twice, therefore.
So, what are the conclusion indicators, yeah? Once again, I will not going to stay with it much longer, you will have it in your notes, yeah?
Okay.
So it's so, thus, therefore, hence, we can conclude, consequently.
Yeah.
Those words, when you see, you know you are given conclusion, yeah? Premise indicators, yeah, since, for, because, for the reason that, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you are given premise indicators. Just be careful about, once again, as I said, don't be so. Since could be time indicator. Since a long time ago, it does not have to be, it's not that simple. You have to see the
Yeah.
claims, yeah?
Yeah.
Because also could be case of explanation, which we will come to it, explanation is a killer. We will come to it, but explanation could be one of the premises, yeah, which then follows, yeah, and that could be in this way. Look in the textbook, yeah, it's explained further there. So we got additional, I just make you a beautiful table. Tables are so good. So you have, yeah, premise and conclusion indicator. So you got between premises and conclusion, yeah. So and so shows that, yeah, indicates that, yeah, establishes that, allows us to infer that, yeah. So we can have those. By the way, these ones are not bad to keep, because when you write your essays, you can use some of these ones, actually helps.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know and just, this can really help. Yeah, and then you got the conclusion, yeah, conclusion is shown by, is indicated by, etc. Yeah,
Yeah.
not change from the active to passive voice. Yeah, is shown by, is indicated by. Yeah, so we are turning it into the passive voice.
Yeah.
I personally don't like passive voice, but many of us are using it. So is this an argument? It cannot be the man we are looking for. His eye color is wrong and the dental records do not match.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course it is. So what are premises?
His eye color is wrong and his dental records do not match.
And conclusion?
True
That
statement.
he is the man, not the man.
Exactly.
He cannot be the man.
He cannot be the man,
Yeah.
yeah? So the second and third reasons are given for us to believe the first one, which is a conclusion. Yeah?
Yeah.
Could you see?
Yes.
Yeah? So, 2 premises, conclusion. Yeah? How we do standard form, and this is what I was telling you, it's much easier than to rewrite it, yeah? So you say his color is wrong, premise 1, dental records don't match, 2, therefore, could you see my nice therefore?
Yes.
Oh, 3 dots. 3 dots. He cannot be the man we are looking for, yeah? Could you now see how goes from the two premises and then, yeah, you infer or you draw conclusion from those two, that conclusion, yeah? Okay, so is this an argument? Oh, I'm so, feelings are very important part of thinking. Feelings come in thinking all the time. We seek to be objective, but outside of mathematics are really objective. In the end, all choices or decisions are based on feeling. Argument or not?
Yes. An argument though, because they're making a case.
Just now have a look, have a look. It's saying the same thing over and over again. There is no reasons for anything. They are important. They come into thinking. They cannot be really objectives. It's repeated in minor variations. It's actually not an argument, be careful. And it's not even explanation. It
Yeah,
repeats.
okay, there's no reason, yeah.
Yeah, there are no
Making
reasons
statements.
given for something to
Yeah.
believe something, yeah? This is just somebody's got just verbal diarrhea, as I would call it, or emitting hot
Yeah.
air.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing of the kind, you don't have reasons believing one of those sentences, you are just repeating the same thing in different variation, yeah? So be careful when you see something, because it sounds profound, doesn't it? No, it's nothing. Okay. So another word which you want to remember is a simple argument consists, and this is going back to Aristotle, let me tell you, and it's called syllogism. Okay? Syllogism is a 3-line argument. Okay? You want to remember this one. So what is the classical 3-line argument, which I'm sure you saw many times in different places? All men are mortal. Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. Yeah? And we will learn why this is valid argument, yeah? And it's very important to remember why, but we will come back to it next week or week after. Okay, that's syllogism. You go two premises leading to a conclusion, and it's a very particular form. First you got generalization, all men are mortal, yeah? Second, Socrates is one of those men, and because he's one of those men, therefore he's mortal. Yeah? So there are these categories, and I will explain to you how it works, yeah? But this is syllogism, just remember 3-line argument, yeah? Two premises leading to a conclusion, okay? So syllogism is a form argument, yeah? No, there is the generalization, yeah, all men are mortal. Good for us, hey, women. We are not mortal, only men are mortal. All right, what about this one? She is armed, therefore she is dangerous. Yeah, I already put it there. She is armed is the premise, she is dangerous is.
Generalization.
Hmm?
And generalization.
Where is generalization, isn't it?
Yeah.
And why is it she is armed, therefore she is dangerous?
Because she is.
Isn't there something missing?
3 lines.
So it's enthemy.
Ah, okay, so
It's
this is an
enthemy.
enthemy.
Enthemy,
Yeah.
yeah, there is missing
Okay.
premise,
Yes.
yeah?
Yeah.
There is something
Between
missed
being
there,
armed and being dangerous.
because what about, and I'm sure I have it on the next slide. Yeah, what about soldier or a policewoman? They are armed, they are not dangerous. There is something missing, yeah?
Yeah.
To just say she is armed, she is dangerous, well, I'm sorry, there is something missing, yeah? So it could be, yeah? Armed people are dangerous, armed people are criminals, whatever, yeah? There is still a presuppositions which would have to be unpacked, but this is why you can connect those two, yeah?
So
Is this clear?
how would you correct the argument?
I'm not correcting
No,
it.
no, I'm saying, how would you correct the argument?
I'm not correcting the argument, I'm just recognizing the argument, yeah? And the argument is, she's armed, she's dangerous, yeah? So we got a premise conclusion. What I'm saying is there is something missing because we call it police, soldiers, whatever. So I add generalization. Armed people are dangerous. Or armed people are criminals. Yeah?
It's a generalisation.
It's a
Yeah, there's generalization. Yeah.
Yeah.
All armed people,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah? Which of course, once again, what about soldiers and police? Yeah, once again, you would have to kind of, but that's what you can fill it in and then it would make sense, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So to return to antonym, yeah? So what is antonym?
It's a generalization.
No,
No,
It's an argument that's missing a part.
exactly.
missing.
It's an argument missing either premise or a conclusion. And it's not so much missing as it is unstated.
Oh, yeah.
Unstated, yeah? It has to be part of the argument in order to make sense. Like, for example, yeah, here, armed people are dangerous, yeah? It's antonym, because without that, it just, even if there is a problem, but, yeah? So antonym is an argument which either miss premise or a conclusion, yeah? Okay.
Okay.
So, as I already noted, yeah, arguments that have implicit premises or implicit conclusion are called antonyms, yeah? Middle of the night, another question for you. What is antonym? Okay, think about this one. Abortion kills a living human being, is a murder.
It doesn't explain what the
That's,
murder is.
that's not even a generalisation.
Okay, argument or not?
It's grounds to start an argument.
Argument or not?
I think it is.
Exactly, good. And as you rightly pointed out, something is missing.
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, this is example which I was saying before, yeah? We are not going to look into the content, we are just looking at the structure. Because we might not agree with this. But that's not what we are doing in this unit. We are just recognizing, yes, this is an argument, but there is something missing because there is, why is the connection between, yeah, abortion and murder? Okay? So, we are looking for a step that connects abortion and murder, yeah? Once again, yeah, we are only looking at the structure. Okay, so, here, yeah? Killing of a human being is murder. Generalization. Yeah, could you see that? So then you have abortion kills a living human being. Killing of a human being is murder. Therefore, abortion is murder. Yeah?
Yeah.
Could you see how it immediately
Yeah.
the argument becomes clear?
Yeah.
Of course, we can then go and question this argument, yeah? We might say, well, whatever. But now you can see how the structure of argument, how you can infer from those two premises to the conclusion. How you can draw from premises conclusion. Yeah? All right. Now, be aware of the antonyms and implicit assumptions. Yeah? And we partially talked about that last week when we talked about reasonable beliefs. Yeah? So, the antonyms are implicit premises or implicit conclusion, yeah? But in order to argue, to give reasons, yeah, we always rest on some implicit beliefs which we never examine, yeah? And as we talked last week, yeah, reasonable beliefs, you have to start somewhere, otherwise you just never finish, yeah? So implicit assumptions are different than antonyms, which are implicit premises or a conclusion within the structure. Yeah? Okay. So, structure of an argument's conclusion necessarily follows from premises. Once we have those two premises,
Yeah.
there is no way you can argue something else. It necessarily follows, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what we need to remember. And of course, then we got simple argument and complex arguments, yeah? Complex arguments will be, for example, your essays, which you are going to write for the second assignment, very, very short one, or a book, yeah, or an article. Yeah, so we are given several reasons, then you got the conclusions, and then you follow from it, and I'm going to explain to you how. Okay, so first of all, once again, conclusion necessarily follows from premises, yeah? So if offered reasons do not necessarily lead to a conclusion, we do not have argument, yeah? You have to always look at the structure, okay? Or the same thing you can say, if offered claims do not relate to each other, then we cannot draw a conclusion, yeah? There has to be relationship. So once again, remember last week you look at it, just as truth will always exist, yeah, what is more, there is no connection,
No,
yeah?
so there's no argument.
Exactly, there cannot be an argument,
Yeah.
yeah? Okay, so it has to necessarily follow from those reasons,
Yeah.
we can draw the conclusion. So this is another way to do it. Formal structure would be, as I said, you write the premises and then usually you can write a line so you can clearly see and do conclusion, yeah?
Yeah.
So simple argument would be premise leading to a conclusion, yeah? Now, complex argument is the same thing. You just got premises, but you got intermediary conclusions. Sometimes you got argument, yeah, and why there are two conclusions? Well, the intermediary conclusion, are you ready for this one?
Okay.
Becomes premise
Oh,
to
yeah.
the further argument, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's not like you have two conclusions, but you have to take that intermediary conclusion, yeah?
Yeah.
As a premise for the next step. And we will practice it, so don't worry, yeah? Just remember when you have in front of you some statement, you say, but why there are two conclusions? Well, then you have to say what is the first,
Yeah.
leads to the first intermediary, and then it goes to final conclusion, yeah? Okay, so it could be done this way, yeah? Premise, intermediate, conclusion, then it becomes premise to final conclusion, yeah? So consider these premises. Strikes by public employees are illegal. The teachers of PS 197 are public employees. Therefore,
That's
thank
real,
you.
I love that.
Exactly, therefore, the strike by the teachers is illegal. Can we necessarily draw that conclusion? Yeah, I think we can, because, note, yeah?
Yeah.
The first and second premise,
Yeah.
yeah, have public employees, so they are related.
Yeah.
There is a relationship between those two, yeah? In the second premise, we have a clarification who those public employees are. Yeah?
Yeah.
Strike by public employees illegal. The teachers are public employees. The strike by the teachers is illegal. By the way, where is the generalization?
The strikes are illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's written there in the first premise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes
You
we
read high
just-
enough.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The strikes are illegal. Yeah, the generalization.
It's given in the first premise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Note, and this is we talked last week, and I'm not going to talk about it, but just to give you once again a reminder, because we will talk about it next week, yeah? I don't want to confuse you with different structures. Just note that conditional, disjunctive, unless sentences offer one claim. If it rains, I will not go to the beach, yeah? It's not that there are not two declarative sentences. It rains and I'm not going to the beach.
If it.
because it's conditional. If it rains, I am making one claim. If it rains, I will not go. Same, yeah, the doors could be either closed or open, not all times. Yeah,
Yeah.
one claim, yeah, it could be one or the other, yeah? So either you study or you party, yeah? It's not two claims, you study, you party. No, you are making one claim because you are putting it together, yeah? So the above sentences makes only one claim, yeah?
Yeah.
And as we will learn later on, they are called sentential arguments. So we are using sentences as part of the argument, yeah? If I study, then I can go to the party. You can put it into conditional, yeah? But it's one claim, yeah? This is just a side note. We will come back to it, don't worry. Okay? So now let's look at the strategies of analysis, yeah? So, there are further notes in your book, and I think they're actually very helpful. If you look at them, yeah, the further strategies what to do. Remember, the only problem is there is no simple advice. If you want to know what 2 + 2 is, this is not your unit. Mind you, no theology unit or philosophy unit will give you 2 + 2 is 4. You actually have to think. This is called critical thinking. Yeah?
Yes.
Good. So just be clear about this. So once again, remember, I already said this, repeating, yeah? First look at the indicators and context, yeah? Indicator words consider larger context, yeah? Dealing with claims, identify each passage, reformulate claims when necessary, but do not change them. Discard elements that do not belong to the argument, because sometimes you got this long passage and not all of it is actually an argument, yeah? So look at the structure, identify the main argument, identify any sub-argument, yeah? Remember the intermediary conclusion, yeah? There is sub-argument. And you can also identify any replies to objections. I am not going to insist on the big kind of arguments because I want you to understand the basic structure. Yeah, if you want to go to bigger arguments which are in your textbook, you are free to do that, but I think it's confusing. I just want us to look at very simple structural steps, yeah? We will look at it when we do exercises, but I really want to just, all men are mortal. Socrates is man, therefore Socrates. Yeah, once you master that basic structure, then you can extrapolate and look at the much more complicated, yeah? So just keep this in mind, yeah? As it's in your textbook, the only rule is do what you can as you can and start from clear parts which you see and then you start looking through it, yeah? Or to put it differently, think through the passage and work out if it is an argument or an explanation, at least. So what is an explanation? Hallelujah here. It's a huge problem. Is this an argument or explanation? The sky is blue, that's because sunlight is refracted. No, there is because. So is it a, no, remember what I said before? Because could be indicator word, or it could not be, could be in the explanation. Okay? Think about this one. It's not, by the way, it's an explanation. What is the difference between the tap is leaking because it needs a new washer? There is a sound of dripping water coming from the bathroom. Therefore, the tap is leaking. No, there is because too. Now, Which one is argument and which one is explanation?
The second one's an argument because you have. to make
Exactly,
an
because you were
implication.
therefore, first of all.
Yeah,
And secondly, the first claim,
yeah,
reason, declarative sentence, give reasons for the tap leaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, while in the first one, it just stops is leaking because there's a new washer. You just want to do something, go and buy a new washer and fix it, yeah?
Yeah.
So how do we decide? The difference, once again, in most cases, it's not 2 + 2 is 4, is when giving an explanation, we take for granted that the listener does need to be convinced about does not need to be convinced, yeah? Like seen the previous one.
yeah,
The tap is leaking because it needs new washer, so we all know it's leaking and it needs to be fixed, yeah? If you are not sure if your listener is aware what's happening, yeah, you need to give reasons. The sound of dripping water in the bathroom, yeah? What is it?
Therefore,
The tap is leaking, yeah?
Yeah.
So, if you think the listener knows, you explain. If not, you have to convince the listener. In other words, give reasons for it, yeah? So if we are sure about listener's knowledge, we need, if we are sure, we are not sure, we need to give reasons, yeah? And then you present argument. There is another way to think about this. And I think it's actually quite helpful. According to your textbook, explaining why something is the case, yeah, is not the same as arguing that something is the case, okay? So you have the example. Arguing that she murdered her children must involve other claims to give reasons for accepting that claim, yeah? Given an explanation of why she murdered them, we assume that she did, and we all know it takes the murder as a given fact, and then we just explain it. Yeah, between why and that. And it is confusing, isn't it? I know. Put it differently. Sometimes instead of arguing, in other words, giving reasons to justify claim, yeah, conclusion, we just simply explain something which we have already accepted as being the case. We don't need to give reasons, we simply explain this is the case. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
So hence to give reasons to others to support our claim that something is the case means to present an argument to convince them about the case, okay? Instead of taking for granted, because we all know why is the case and then we just explain it. Let's do it different ways again to say it. The difference between an explanation and argument lies in their goal. Yeah, I'm giving you several ways to think about it, yeah?
Yeah.
So an argument tries to show that something is true, conclusion, yeah? While explanation tries to show it is true.
Why it is true. Yeah.
Yeah? So another way, some reasoning rather than trying to convince us that we should accept a particular conclusion, that is, we have to give reasons for it. Yeah? To accept conclusion means you are giving reasons for others to believe that conclusion. Yeah? So it aims instead to explain something which you already accept as being the case. Okay? Usually explanation, you just simply explain something without giving reasons for it. You just assume everybody knows what you are talking about. You just simply explain it, yeah?
Yeah.
Mind you, this is the biggest problem for essays.
Yeah.
Because quite a lot of students, instead of giving argument in an essay, simply explain, describe, don't argue. This is why it's important to remember that you actually do give reasons for what you are going to convince your lecturer or tutor yeah, that you have idea what you are talking about, yeah? So in other words, is a case of giving reasons why something it is rather than giving reason for believing something. Yeah, so we got the different ways you can, I think the easiest one is that and why, but I leave it to you, yeah? So an explanation is a description of something, so yeah, instead of arguing your essay, you just describe positions, which you actually don't do anything, just describe, or you just account of the facts without arguing why, yeah? It's important to start with it, but you need to then make from it argument, yeah?
Yeah.
You need to turn it into reasons for something to believe in the end, yeah? Okay.
Reasoning is okay.
So once again, let's think about the same thing. How do we deal with claims? So first we identify each claim. Remember, if it is premise or a conclusion, look what it is. Sometimes we reformulate when it is necessary, not to changing them. Discard elements that do not belong to an argument. And remember, close the door. Can you close the door? Questions, commands, exclamation, exhaustion should be discarded.
Yeah.
They are not declarative sentences. Yeah?
Mm.
Okay, so what is a declarative sentence?
What is a declarative sentence?
Who can tell me? We talk about it right at the beginning. It is a statement
It's a
of
sentence.
facts
Statement.
and what is its value?
True or false?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Declarative sentence, assertion, reasons given, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a statement of facts and it has to have truth value, true or false. Only those we can use, okay? So middle of the night, remember declarative sentence. Okay, think about this one. Identify each claim in the passage. He is destitute and utterly without hope and so will end up on the street. I already made it for you. He is destitute, one premise, yeah. Second premise is utterly without hope, therefore he will end up on the street.
Would you not say therefore he might end up on the street?
Well, might is not a declarative sentence.
Another
Might is the-
clarification.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think you are absolutely right. It's not clear
Mm.
that actually those two premises leads to a conclusion. Yeah?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, but once you do might, you have conditional.
But might you say it's another?
It's a different
Yeah.
story, yeah? We are just looking now at this, yeah? So then we do, yeah, 1 + 2 leads to 3, yeah? But will he? Is there something missing? What is the implicit premise? What is an implicit assumption?
That being hopeless means you end up on the street, yeah.
Exactly, yeah? Once again, if, and we are not going to do it, I'm just trying to kind of make it clear, it's not that simple, is it? Those two
Yeah.
premises looking great, but it doesn't mean
He
that
will.
he will end up
No,
on the street,
no.
yeah?
No, it's assuming.
It's assuming something, I would say it's assuming certain socioeconomic
Yes.
background
Yes,
or,
yeah.
yeah? So there are certain assumptions when you start thinking about them, which you rightly pointed out, it's not so straight, yeah? As I said, we are now looking only at the structure, but keep that in the back of your mind, yeah? It's actually not so simple, yeah? So, what about this one? Tom wants to get a dog. What kind? Dachshund. And that's really stupid, since he wants one that will catch a frisbee. Nice, so how do we reformulate it?
Tom wants to get a dog that will catch a frisbee. Therefore, Tom should not get a dash.
Exactly,
Yeah.
we don't say it's stupid, yeah, we
No.
just reformulate it, yeah?
Yeah.
And why is that? I tell you why. because I said, what? I have to go and check what the bloody deja is. This is not a dog who catches frisbee, is it?
No.
Yeah, so he should not have it if he wants to catch frisbee. Yeah, but you have the simple argument, premise, conclusion. Yeah,
Yeah, he wants to get a dog, but he wants a dog that will catch a frisbee.
and that's another
And the
good dog.
conclusion is, no,
I
no.
would have thought that that dog could be trained to catch us.
Yeah, get a smaller frisbee.
And throw it low on the ground. It still can't catch it because they can't jump.
All right, thank you. See, I was so what? And then I just have to go and check what the or.
I had a dasher and I know they cannot jump.
Oh,
So
really?
I
No,
think
they
it's-
can't.
Is it out of
They
proportion?
can jump.
No, they can't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My dog.
See what you learn in critical thinking unit? Isn't this wonderful unit? Okay, so I'm finishing, and this is once again, by giving reasons, we present an argument. To present an argument means that we need to follow a method. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Premises, conclusion. Conclusion must necessarily follow from premises. We have to infer from premises conclusion. Yeah?
Yes.
This is why arguing does not mean screaming at each other, but it means present reasons. Okay? And to present an argument, we need to know what constitutes an argument. What constitutes an argument?
What constitutes an
Yeah.
argument is statements, no,
Reasons, yes,
reasons, okay.
exactly. And how do we call those reasons?
Premises.
Leading to a conclusion.
Conclusion.
Okay.
Yeah?
Two, is it standard?
No, could be 10,
Yeah.
or could be 1.
Yeah.
It's
But
depending, that's what you
That's
need
the
to.
premise that points to the conclusion.
Always has to be
Yeah.
premise or premises
Yeah.
leading to a conclusion. Simple argument will have what? Only premises leading to one conclusion. Each argument can have only one conclusion. Yeah? If there are more, it means it's a complex argument,
Yeah.
and we have premises or premise leading to a conclusion, intermediary conclusion.
Yeah.
What happened with that intermediary conclusion?
Becomes a premise.
It becomes premise, and then we
And then
draw
the
the
conclusion.
Yeah, a book would be a lot of intermediary conclusions, which in the end would be the final. Aliens are visiting the earth. Or not. Yeah, so we would have a lot of,
Yes.
yeah? And we need to know, yeah, a formal structure of an argument, because then it is much easier to recognize it. And how many formal structures we looked at?
We only looked at one.
One was premises. Yeah, premises, conclusion, so we write
Yes.
premises and conclusion, or you can draw an arrow,
Mm,
yeah, or you number premises.
okay.
As you noticed, I'm already brainwashing you because I'm already stressing that formal structure is the easiest. But you can choose whichever is good for you.
I say
But
that's
the
small, I
formal
don't mean.
structure, you know, sort of.
Okay.
Yes, so we write the premise 1, premise 2, line. Yeah,
Okay. Definitely.
finished. And this is what I was citing, so.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah,
That's all I
so let's have a little bit of break, yeah? And then we can do the exercises. And I'm going to torture you with concepts.
Oh my gosh.
What is the truth value of a sentence?
Got to get rid of.
What is
Come
it?
on, what is the truth value of a sentence?
True or false?
It is true and false.
And false.
Or, sorry, it is
false.
true or false.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes. All right.
You need to
Excellent.
download the book.
5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Like this.
Whatever. I'm good.
Have you done that?
No,
That's what they were doing.
that's what causes the
You
problem.
said because you can't, if you've got a blocker apparently on some programs, I know, but you've got to check, and I was done to me this morning,
Yeah,
and you've got to be able to,
remove the block.
and I think you do that in here, by going in
It
here,
is,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
that's right.
and then you go into general, general, and then you go into,
Can you get coffee?
Yes,
yeah.
if the machine's not working properly,
Okay.
but you can make tea. You can get a